What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of Player Ratings as we beat Norwich 3-0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium yesterday. And let's get straight into it, starting with Hugo Laurice. 6s all round from us. And for me, I mean, he was comfortable on the most part for me. Hugo saved early on from Pukki. There was that one dodgy moment when he tried to pass out to Dier. But apart from that, punched a few crosses. And yeah, he was fairly untested for the most part, but did his job fine.
Yeah, it could have cost us at one moment. You know, if Pukki gets under control, then we could have been in trouble. But he did make the early save, as you say. So, yeah, and not too much of note for Hugo. Despite a lot of Norwich possession, they didn't manage to force him into too many saves.
Yeah. Let's move over to Davidson Sanchez. 7s all round from us for Davidson. A few shaky moments early on, but grew into the game, I felt, as the game wore on. Scored the second goal, and he looked pretty angry in that celebration. Maybe that was due to the criticism he has been getting over the last couple of weeks, but I think it was much better from Davidson.
Definitely, and he actually seemed a lot more composed than he did on Thursday night, I felt. Kept things simple with his passing, wasn't trying to pass it into the feet of the attackers or anything like that, just laid it off to players who are better in possession. And I thought defensively, really strong performance, actually. Did a lot of the dirty work, which the other defenders didn't have to. So I'm pretty happy with how Sanchez performed, to be honest.
Yeah, let's move over to Eric Dier. Dier actually got a 7 all round. I had it at 8, but I forgot to tell Sam to change it, but I've got it down here as a 7. So 7s all round from us from Eric Dier. Another commanding display. A couple of shaky moments on the ball early on, but for the most part I thought he was very assured and carried on his really good start to the season.
Yeah, I would say actually looking back at that Pukki chance early doors, I thought Dier actually loses him pretty worryingly. I think he had him marked. He had him marked, but he lost him, and Pukki could have scored there. But other than that, he didn't really get away from Dier throughout the game. So I think generally it was positive, and I think again he's the player at the back when doing long passes and passes into feet who's the most accurate. So another positive display from Dier.
Yeah, let's move on to Ben Davies. 8s all round from us. And this is becoming a common theme, giving Ben Davies an 8. Another great display from Ben Davies. Defensively on point, always creating an option for us up front. Grabbed himself 2 assists on the day. The first one, the header that led towards Sanchez's goal. And the second one was a really nice 1-2 with Ollie Skip that led to Sonny's goal. So 1-2 that led to Sonny's goal. So I think Ben Davies defensively really well, providing up front now as well. 2 assists on the day. So really, really good display from Ben Davies.
And it really does suit him down to a T. And it just goes to show that with that third goal, exactly what he can provide in the final third if given the opportunity. And he can kind of just ghost in there unmarked because he's a centre-back in the final third and he shouldn't really be there. So really positive positioning, and Conte seems to really know what he's doing when it comes to Ben Davies. And another really, really strong display from him, and he's going from strength to strength, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. He really is. I mean, it's something that we've said about Ben Davies. Yeah, he's always a 6 or 7 out of 10, but he is just outperforming himself right now.
Definitely.
And let's move over to Japhet Tanganga. Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 4. In the first half, I felt he failed to provide going forward too much. Second half, I felt that he really struggled coming up against Brandon Williams, who was beating him time and time again, was taken off on the hour mark, and quite rightfully so. But right wing back is just not his position, and I don't really want to see him play there. But yeah, got taken off rightfully so.
Yeah, and especially in the second half, he struggled badly. That's why he got taken off. I think if he remained on, then it was an avenue which Norwich were getting a lot of joy. I think first half, I don't think he was too much of a liability. He was being very aggressive against Brandon Williams, and it was paying off for the most part. I think offensively, a bit like Davinson, wasn't trying anything too complicated, was just keeping it simple, which is okay to do, but you know, when you're in that position, you kind of have to be a bit more adventurous if you're going to make the most of the opportunities there. And I felt like he probably did the right things. That to his skill set, that's what he probably should do, because if he does anything too complicated, it ends up getting unstuck. But I think you have to have more quality in that position. I think in general, while he was on the pitch, he was okay, but for the last 15 minutes, he really struggled, and as you say, rightly had to be taken off.
Yeah, let's move on to Sergio Regulon. Sixes all round from us. Went off injured after 20 minutes and also picked up a yellow card in that time. Look, he wasn't on the pitch long enough to provide for us on the team, but I think that he was like being a good option for us on that left-hand side. But that injury does leave us in a very sticky position for Thursday night, seeing as Sessegnon is suspended.
Yeah, which is worrying. It's going to have to wait and see how Conte deals with it. Does he change Davis from the position he's been playing so greatly in that left centre-back, or does he go with someone like a Bergwijn, like play him in a kind of Perisic kind of role? Remains to be seen. Regulon, yeah, only on for 20 minutes. I think there was rumours that in the warm-up he was having trouble with his thigh and then he aggravated it. So it's pretty stupid that he started the game, and considering how much effort and energy he puts into it, I think he should never have been in that lineup. But the only thing positive about it is I guess Sessegnon had a good run, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, which moves us on to Ollie Skip. Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 9. Another highly impressive display, performing well beyond his years. He really is. I mean, set the tone in the first 10 minutes with an amazing run, but the keeper was equal to his shot. Made some really impressive tackles and interceptions, which allowed us to spring on them in the middle of the park. He was going forward, defensively on point, and was involved in our third one with a nice 1-2 with Davis to tee up Son. So an amazing display from Ollie Skip, and he's getting better and better and better.
Yeah, 100%. Really strong showing again from Skippy. I think though those slide tackle passes are becoming a feature of Skippy's game. Really impressive stuff from him. And I see him definitely growing in confidence as the season's going on. As you say, those charges into the final third, I think he's having more and more touches in the final third as well, proven as well by the goal that we scored, the third goal where he plays it into Ben Davis in and around the penalty area, and we go on and he goes on to play it to Son to score. And I think he's getting more and more involved in attacks in the build-up play, and he's marrying that with his industry and passion in the centre of the midfield. So he's improving week on week, and is getting very excited about what he's showing.
Yeah, really am as well. And like,
he's going to be knocking on the England door soon.
Yeah, definitely. And under Nuno, like, people accused him of being a sideways and backwards merchant. And since Conte has come in, he's been anything but that. He's added forward passes to his game. He's added drives forward to his game. So he's getting better and better every game.
You can't get the ball off him.
You really can't. I mean, what a player we have in our hands at 21 years of age as well, performing like this. Unbelievable in the middle of the park. So let's move on to Pierre Emil Hoibier. 7s all round from us. He's forming a really good partnership with Skippy now. Not as dominant in the middle as Skippy was, but I think that he provided very well to the team defensively and going forward, getting a shot off as well. So look, I'm not going to talk too much about Hoibier, but I thought it was a good, competent display from him.
Yeah, I think he patrolled the centre really well, and I think he was actually the more disciplined one initially compared to Skip, whereas under Nuno, it was Hoibier who was the one given a bit more licence to go forward, and Skip was being more disciplined, so it's a bit of a role reversal there. But I think, solid display was, as we expect from Hoibier, nothing too fancy, but kept it simple and provided a good platform for Spurs to build off.
Yeah. Let's move on to Lucas Moura. 8s all round from us. A goal straight out of the top drawer for Lucas Moura as he weaved through the Norwich defence, played a lovely 1-2 with Heung-min Son, tore away from the defender and rifled it straight into the top bins of the net. Absolutely excellent goal. Could be up for goal of the season award. Definitely up for goal of the month, that's for sure. Was excellent on the day. In the first half, much of his mazy runs and link-up play were coming off and linked up really well with Son and Kane on the day. I felt in the second half he kind of drifted out of the game a little bit, but that doesn't take away from his brilliant performance. Yeah,
really strong showing. Off the back of some really strong form as well. He's been against Leeds, he had a really strong game. Against Brentford, he was involved and he stepped up again this time. First goal since February, which we need to see more of, as Conte was saying. But again, it wasn't just his goal. He was playing a through ball to Kane when he had that lob which went over the bar. He was drawing a lot of the Norwich midfielders out and getting fouls and yellow cards. And he's definitely very suited to the role he's playing, a bit of like right of centre in the middle of like in that number 10 role, and it's allowing him to play within those tight spaces, but also be a bit more central where he's closer to goal, and he's definitely finding it his position a bit more at home there.
Definitely. Which moves us on to Heung-min Son. Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 9. Was dangerous all game, Heung-min Son. He looked at it, provided a nice assist with the 1-2 for Lucas's goal. His corner that led to Sanchez's goal. I mean, he had a hand in every single goal, and then obviously scored the third goal with a clinical shot from inside the box. Another great display from Heung-min Son, and I feel like he's really getting to grips now with the Conte system. After a few kind of lackluster displays in the first few games under Conte, he's really coming to the fore now.
Yeah, and he took his goal really well, I felt. Just had that composure to sidestep the defender before firing it into the far corner, where it maybe in recent weeks he might have delayed the shot even more or even looked for a pass. I think a lot of the time recently he's had chances to shoot and he just hasn't got the shot off, but he definitely did yesterday, which goes to show maybe he's getting his confidence back. Definitely learning the position a lot more. He was a threat on the counter massively. There was a few moments, the one where he shoots straight at Harry Kane when it goes wide, and a few other moments where he's linking with Lucas Moura as well. So another really positive display from Son, and he's starting to link up really well with Lucas at the moment.
Yeah. Which moves us on to Harry Kane. Sim gives him a 6. I give him a 7. Good link-up play in the first half with our front line. He caught Krul off guard. He was about 18 yards off his goal line. He attempted the lob, which showed a bit of confidence about Harry Kane, but it did go just wide. But it was a good attempt from Harry Kane, that's for sure. He's working very, very hard for the team, that's for sure. But he's just having no luck in front of goal whatsoever. But I think everything he does outside the box he's doing well. His link-up play, his spreading the play. So I think that Harry Kane, it was a good display from Harry Kane, but just in front of goal is worrying me, and 1 goal in 13 games is starting to worry me as well. So good display from Harry Kane, everything outside the box, but inside the box, again, no goals.
Yeah, and I think most of his shots were actually outside the box, if I remember. I think he had most shots in the game, 5 shots during the 90 minutes, forcing Tim Krul into a really good save in the second half. But I can't remember him hitting the target other than that.
And that when he forced Tim Krul into that save, that led to the corner that we scored from as well.
Yeah, which is positive. And I think, again, I thought he had a pretty good game. From Harry Kane standards, it wasn't nothing exceptional, but I think he definitely contributed to the team. I really believe he's a vital cog in how performing, and I don't have any complaints except for putting the ball in the back of the net at the moment with Harry Kane. I think he's linking really well with the front two. I'd like to see him be a bit more clinical, and maybe also there's a few times where we're on counter-attacks or so, and he's picking the wrong option. But other than that, I think he's pretty strong showing, and as long as we're playing well when we're winning, it doesn't matter too much if he's scoring or not, but we need him to be getting those goals back.
Yeah, I mean, when the goals come few and far between against the so-called better sides, that's when we're going to miss Harry Kane's goals a bit more. But we'll have to wait and see. 1 goal in 13, but I'm backing him to start providing the goals again. Let's move over to the substitutes bench. Ryan Sessegnon came on after 20 minutes for the injured Regulon. Big chance for Ryan, and he finally took his chance, in my opinion. Very positive display from Ryan Sessegnon. I think defensively, for the most part, he did well. Going forward, this is where I was most impressed with him. Finally, he was taking on his man. Finally, he was getting crosses in the box, and he looked like a player playing with a bit of confidence as well.
Yeah, and he was able to take on Max Aarons, get behind him, get to the byline, put crosses in, as you were saying. And he actually showed some good technique on his passing as well, I felt. Some of the crosses really swung in there with a lot of power and accuracy, and it was unlucky. One of them nearly fell to Harry Kane, just a last-minute interception, preventing it from falling to him. And I thought defensively he was really helping out Ben Davies as well, getting back in position really quickly. And I'm very, very encouraged by that display, because the first time really we've seen him take in that position, really take on his fullback and get crosses in and be confident. So look, it's a long way to go for him, but very encouraging signs.
Yeah, and let's move on to Matt Dougherty. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. Came on for the last half an hour, which was very much needed as Tanganga was struggling there at a right wing back. He came on, he shored things up for us at the right back, and I thought it was a bright showing from Dougherty. It was his pass, lovely actually, outside of the foot pass that to Kane, where he forced the keeper into the save, which ultimately led to the corner, which we scored from. But look, it's much better from Matt Dougherty, that's for sure.
And one thing I definitely noticed, he was winning a lot more headers as well. He won a lot of headers on that right-hand side, which allowed us to keep possession and allowed us great control, and he also stopped the kind of stop the rot on that right hand side, where Norwich for a time were getting a lot of joy down that left hand side and creating problems for us, and they nearly scored from it when obviously Pukki played it to Ida, who that shot, and it went just wide. So I think Dougherty came on, he put out that fire impressively, stopped Brandon Williams having joy, and I thought it was a good display from him.
Yeah, definitely. Bergwijn came on for the last few moments, a few nice touches, but nothing really to note.
Yeah, one nice flick.
Yeah.
I think apparently he might have picked up a knock as well right at the end.
Yeah, it was a nice little flick, showboating flick. Maybe it'll be in Too Good, Too Bad if they still do that. But let's move on to Antonio Conte. Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 7. The reason I give him a 7 is just because of the amount of chances we gave up to Norwich. That might not be down to him, might be down to the personnel on the pitch. But look, all in all, he set up the team really well, limited Norwich to... Look, they had a few chances, but by and large, we had control for most part of that game, apart from maybe the early knockings of the second half and the end of the first half. So I think Conte, he managed the game well, made the changes to impact the game, saw that Tanganga was struggling, brought on Dougherty. Sessegnon as well had a good showing when he came on. So all in all, 3-0 win, not too many complaints.
And a big part of it as well, the way he's developed Ben Davies was a big part of why we won the game. I think the way he's positioned Son, Lucas and Kane in that front three very centrally is starting to pay dividends as well. And I think he did manage the game fairly well. As you say, Tanganga was struggling. He saw it very quickly and decided to hook him. And as soon as Dougherty came on, it kind of stopped anything down that side. And I think... I don't know whether it was a deliberate tactic to cede possession to Norwich, or when maybe we were tired or whatever it was. But it definitely, I think, whatever the tactic was, if it was his plan to cede possession, I do think in general it limited Norwich, and then we sprung on them very effectively on the counter. So I think it worked. Yeah,
and obviously we're looking a lot more dangerous in this Conte system in the last couple of games. Countless amount of shots on target, and that's a barometer to see how well we're doing, seeing as we went 3 games without having a shot on target. So much better from Tottenham, albeit against a Norwich side which are on form but are also struggling at the bottom of the league.
Ended Dean Smith's unbeaten run.
Yeah, ended Dean Smith's unbeaten run. Norwich's honeymoon period is over, but bigger tests definitely yet to come. So that is our player ratings. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts on our player ratings, and let me know your player ratings in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.